Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the newspaper review where we get to analyze stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us this morning. It is a throwback Thursday. A Thursday that so many possibilities. A Thursday when we think Thursday in this part of the world, all of us go, oh, reminisce on the old times. And yes, on the newspaper review, we're reminiscing on the old times because the old times seems more safer than the new times. Yesterday, we saw on social media as heavy protests took place in Ondo State over killings of about 12 farmers, allegedly, by Fulani headsmen, or allegedly that is. It is crazy. We also saw on the news, on social media as well, where 3 members of the Nigerian army were allegedly killed by terrorists. They released a video killing allegedly members of the Nigerian army. We can't be so sure if they truly were members of the Nigerian army or, they were clothed with that uniform, so which is why we say allegedly. But we saw them on uniforms and they were killed. The videos were released on social media. It is really sad. So many things have been going on in the country, which is sad, but we do know our government is doing their best just to make sure that we are safe. And probably the best is not good enough. That is what most citizens are saying, as they feel like probably more should be done, because it doesn't seem like this is going away anytime soon. Although we could remember this year where the chief of defense staff made a promise that he will make sure that insecurity comes to the barest minimum at the end of this year. And probably maybe this is just the last kick of a dying horse of insecurity for them, trying to make as much impact as they can before they are wiped off. So let's just hope on the Nigerian army, let's just hope on the Nigerian security forces that they will be able to put a nip at the bud of insecurity in the country once and for all. Good morning again. My name is Uche Okore. Welcome to the newspaper review. Remember, you can always be a part of the conversation. That is, you can get to tell us what you think is happening in the country, how you think it can be better, what you think the government can do right so as to get Nigeria working again. Well, you need to call us up on 0704 425 2109, or you can reach us via WhatsApp or your regular text message on 0907 224 5018. I take that one more time, 0907 224 5018. That's for your WhatsApp message and your regular text message. We're on all over your social media. Yes, we're on Twitter, we're on X, that is, Twitter. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. On X, Instagram and TikTok, it is impact 1021 FM. That is impact 1021 FM. On Facebook, it is impact Radio 102.1 FM. And yes, on YouTube, which we are live right now. So hey, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notification button so you can get to know whenever we are live right here in the studio. The YouTube channel is impact 102.1 FM. That is impact 102.1 FM. Okay, moving straight to the papers that we have with us this morning. We will be starting with the Guardian newspaper today. And what does the Guardian have for us? The Guardian is leading with this one this morning. It says, stalled Naira for crude deal, imminent end to subsidized petrol as FX PMS face major disruption. You find that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. You get to see a picture of the CEO of Dangote and of course the chief executive officer of the NNPC. Right here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. I'm sure so many people have so many thoughts in their head now that the Naira for crude deal has stalled, because now Dangote released a statement yesterday saying they need to stall, payments for petrol products with the use of Naira due to the Naira for crude delay and all of that. But more needs to be done. I think this needs to be reviewed. Whatever the problem has been, it needs to be reviewed, because we've noticed in the coming days that in the previous days, I mean to say, where there has been reduction of fuel price from the 970 naira to about 860 naira or thereabouts now. I don't know what filling stations you're getting yours from, but about 860 now or thereabouts some places. And in as much as it's not where we used to be, because I'm 100% sure most Nigerians are thinking of us going back to at least 100 naira, 150 naira, even less if possible, because that means the economy is getting way better and better, and we know the impacts of petrol in our society. We know how bad electricity is, so having cheap petrol will go a long way in helping solve or mitigate that situation of electricity that we face at the moment. So the Naira for crude deal seemed to be something that, was helping the situation. So now it's stalled. So many people are scared that probably from the old 860, which we're seeing now, it might skyrocket back to about 900 and something, or probably 1,000, if not more. Is that what's going to happen? Well, we hope not, and we do hope the NNPC, the federal government, and the other private refineries that exist in the country can look into this and make sure that we, solve the situation at the end of the day, so as to please the everyday Nigerians. Beside this huge picture, on The Guardian this morning, we see many fear dead, cars burnt as tanker explosion rocks Abuja. You find that story on page 2 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. FG dismisses WHO report on stockout of essential HIV drugs. That story is on page 3. SDP denying connections. SDP denies connection. Party funding by Tinubu. You find that one on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Beside it, Shettima task lawmakers on food security legislations. Shettima task lawmakers on food security legislations. You find that story on page 4 of the Guardian this morning. Beside that image, you get to see a picture of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, shaking hands with the newly appointed administrator of River State, Vice Admiral Ekwe. So, you need to go look at that one for you to find out. He was at the presidential villa yesterday, so hey, you need to go look at those images on The Guardian to get details of that story. Beside it, FG reads Riot Act to states as Nigerians rule state of emergency in Rivers. FG reads Riot Act to states as Nigerians rule state of emergency in Rivers. You find that story on page 6 of The Guardian this morning. And finally, not finally, I'm sorry, underneath, on The Guardian newspaper, at the bottom tail of the paper, you see working group submits report, 6 urgent help for correctional centers. Working group submits report, 6 urgent help for correctional centers. You find that story on page 30 of The Guardian newspaper this morning. Underneath the nameplate, Natasha, constituents reject sham recall, process as Kogi REC dismisses rumor. Constituents reject sham recall as Kogi REC dismisses rumor. You find that story on page 3. Beside it, Okwebolo predicts victory for Tinubu in 2027 as 17 local government bosses dump PDP. Page 7 is where that story is. And finally, on The Guardian newspaper this morning, EFCC arrest Bauchi AG, orders for alleged 70 billion naira fraud. EFCC arrest Bauchi AG, offers for alleged 70 billion naira fraud. And that story you will see on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper this morning, and that's the much we can take for the Guardian.
And taking it from the Guardian next to the Punch newspaper, we have here first on the front page, Rivers emergency rule. I'll take that again, Rivers emergency rule. Federal government deploys 10,000 troops against vandals as opposition. NLC protest. The writer here is saying fresh explosion in Rivers. PDP protests as AGF, APC threaten emergency rule extension. This is all we'll be talking about yesterday, and we can see the updates right here. If you want to get more details, this one is on pages 2 and 16 of the Punch newspaper. Beside the nameplate, EFCC arrest Bauchi accountant general over alleged 70 billion naira fraud. I'll take that again. EFCC arrest Bauchi accountant general over alleged 70 billion naira fraud. This one is on page 20. Above the nameplate, naira for crude. Naira for crude. Fuel price hike looms as Dangote NNPCL takes fill. That's on page 21. On page 16, we find minimum wage NYSC to spend 307.6 billion naira on corpus mobilization. Interesting. They spent quite a lot, and that's just for, I'm sure, maybe just for one particular batch for like different states. Now you think about different ones. So that's on page 16. Page 22. We find stop military attacks on discourse. Adelabu tells NSA. Stop military attacks on discourse. Adelabu tells NSA. More stories here. Below, we find Sanwo-Olu unveils new blocks of classrooms in Ikorodu. That's a good one. You can find more details on page 6. That's the picture right here, and with him and some children in their cultural attire. Below that, police confirm that of inspector, 12 gunmen in fierce battle. Police confirm death of inspector, 12 gunmen in fierce battle. That's on page 5. The page 4 says Mohbad's brother, friend arrested outside Lagos court. And lastly, PDP tackles APC as Kogi constituents begin Natasha's recall. I'll take that again. PDP tackles APC as Kogi constituents begin Natasha's recall. You can find this huge story on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. And yep, that is all we have right here.
Moving on from the Punch newspaper straight to the Daily Trust this morning. Remember, you can always be a part of the conversation if you reach us on 0704 425 2109. I take that one more time, 0704 425 2109. That's the number for you to call us at, so you can get to share your opinions on the things going on in the country, or just things going on around your vicinity, or basically just want to pour your mind out on how we can make Nigeria a better place. Well, the time for you to do that is now, and you can do that via calls or WhatsApp or your regular text message. For WhatsApp and the regular text message, it is on 0907 2224 5018, 0907 224 5018. The Daily Trust newspaper, and it leads with this one. Fuel may rise as Naira for crude deal stalls. You have one rider to that story. It says experts seeks government intervention. Man, this story, it is scary. Real scary.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but when you said it's scary, my mind just went.
It has to go. It has to go wherever it went into. If that one is, whatever is, it is crazy because now we're thinking in our heads, man, are we going back to 1,000 naira? Or is it going to increase? Because people were thinking, oh, maybe this downward, thinking that we've been seeing for a few days now, especially with the Dangote refinery, probably this is going to be something that will lead to about 500, 400, 300. I dare say 100. I dare say 80 naira. But
Anything is possible.
So that's what people were thinking. But now with the naira for crude deal stalled, that is a very, very, very scary thing for
And
most people.
maybe it's just a temporary thing.
Well, we hope so.
Maybe just a temporary thingy. It's still like, it's like a pendulum, just going left and right.
Swinging left and right.
Yes. Then
Stay still, pendulum. Stay still.
Finally, it still gets to that point.
We hope so. We hope so. You get to see image on the front page of the Daily Trust. I think this has to do with an image of the tanker explosion that took place in Abuja. I think that's at the Nyanya axis of Abuja. I do hope everyone that was affected by it are strong, healthy. Yeah, I hope so. I can imagine maybe things could have gone wrong and all of that, but you be safe. Rivers crisis, emergency rule can be overturned. Yeah, one writer to that story. Overruled Tinubu, NNPP, LP, others tell National Assembly. The National Assembly was supposed to look into the state of emergency, which was, prescribed by the president on Rivers State and the suspension of the governor, the deputy, and the National Assembly. And they didn't sit yesterday because a few senior members were not on seat at the time they were supposed to have, discuss on that particular topic. But they will resit today, and we hear the discussion will be on the table, on the floor of the Senate. So let's see what's going to happen, if it will be overturned or if the Senate will put a stamp on it and say, hey, carry on. Anyways, underneath the nameplate of the Daily Trust this morning, we see this one, day 20 for Ramadan. Yes. Many fear dead as tanker explodes on Abuja Road. Beside that one, poor sanitation. Others push meningitis death to 55 in Kebbi. Really, really sad. Finally, on the Daily Trust front page this morning, we see EFCC arrest Bauchi AG over alleged 70 billion naira fraud. EFCC arrest Bauchi's AG over alleged 70 billion naira fraud. And that's the much we can take for the Daily Trust.
And lastly, for the Vanguard newspaper, we start first with emergency rule in Rivers. Federal government, governors disagree. Emergency rule in Rivers, federal government, governors disagree. Latest pages 8, 9, and 10. Lots of riders here. Wike has no role in political crisis, as according to AGF. Alleges Fubara tele-guided militants to blow up pipelines. We also have Tinubu can't appropriate such powers to himself. This one is from Amici. No justification for state of emergency. Senator Dixon, your action unconstitutional. NBA tells Tinubu. It's unwarranted, premeditated attack. It's an unwarranted, premeditated attack on Rivers opposition. PDP governors. Let me just take one more. Illegally of dissolving elected democratic structure. This is by Falano. All of this you can find on page 40. But what we can just see here is everyone is against it, and he's trying to tell the president that, hey, this is not so. This is not okay, and it is not fine. That is what this particular story is saying. So no one is really agreeing for the action that the president has taken at this time. But let us see how this is all going to pan out. More stories. Protest rocks Ondo as armed herdsmen kill 5 farmers. Protest rocks Ondo as armed herdsmen kill 5 farmers. This is sad. But this is on page 14.
Real sad,
Insecurity situation. We just keep seeing fresh news every single day.
Every single day. The other day we saw videos of a particular local government. What I mean the other day, just about 2 days ago, even yesterday, the videos were still online of a particular local government in Benue State where they were actually running away from the community because allegedly there was an attack going on in their community, and we saw scores of people in their hundreds running away from the community. It is sad. Now we're seeing Ondo State people protesting because allegedly herdsmen killed about 12 farmers in the state.
It's terrible.
It's sad that insecurity has spread to every corner of Nigeria as it stands at the moment. You go to the southwest, as it seems, insecurity. The southeast, insecurity. The northwest, the northeast, the north central. So we're safe. We're exactly safe.
Let's move on from that story. Policemen, 11 military gang members killed in Benue State. This one is on page 6. We have right here the president and the New River State sole administrator, swearing in by the president in Abuja yesterday. And they're saying here that Abbas takes over in Rivers. That is what it is saying. More stories. Let's see here. Audit panel to federal government. Our prisons in deplorable conditions. Audit panel to federal government. Our prisons in deplorable conditions. This one is on page 15. You wanted to say something there?
It's real sad. I don't know if you've ever been to any of our major correctional facilities to actually see how these people live, and it's real sad.
It's quite terrible that most of the time, if anyone actually even goes there and comes back, it's more like they are even hardened.
Like some come back unstable mentally, some are not 100 again. And you get to see situations like this. Let's even start from the mere police stations where you probably you remanded and maybe in the cells, not in prison this time around, the cells where the other police officers stay around and you're just kept for beats maybe before moved to a major facility. How clean are those ones? How healthy are they now compared to other places? So it is really sad.
I think they are following with the mindset of, since they are criminals, they should be in that place. But yes, I mean, even if you want to teach them a lesson, it's not going to be helping, especially if you call it a correctional facility.
It's meant to correct them. This is a place that is meant to reshape them, remold them, rehabilitate them, so as for them to come back into the society and be meaningful in the society. But when you keep them in a place like that allegedly hardens them, allegedly make them unstable, what is the assurance that when they come back into that society, they'll be any better? No. There's no assurance. So our correctional facility is a deplorable state at the moment. This is not something that's new in the conversation. It's not a new conversation. It's just a reoccurring conversation. It's been there for years. And so it's sad that we're still talking about this kind of stuff in big 2025, but it is what it is, and our government needs to sit up and do better. They need to sit up and do better. The people too who are in charge of these places, because I'm sure there are budgets. I'm sure the government provide budgets for all these places. So now the people who are in charge of these places, are you really doing your job? Right. What are you doing as a person, or are we just going to stick to blaming the government for everything every single time? Because there is a budget. It might not be enough. It might not be huge, but are they trying to manage it to make sure at least these places are good enough? So the people too, we need to start owning up for the things we do. We need to start, being that change we are looking for in
Exactly.
the society. Because you go to different parastatals, you go to different organizations, and government provides a budget to make sure that those organizations work out. Government provides a budget to make sure that things work out in those organizations. It's either staffs are not coming to work, or the ones that are coming to work are leaving by 1 o'clock, or even the ones that are not leaving by 1 o'clock just sign in and sign out. And administrators who are in charge, nothing is being done. It's just like everybody's just doing whatever they like to do. And at the end of the day, we still blame it on government. Government do their best to a certain extent, but we are the people that make up the government. We are the people that make sure that these things work.
And we have a part to play.
We have a huge part to play. But why I still at the end of the day blame the government is because what are the things, the checks and balances you've kept in place to make sure that even if all these things is going on, even if these people are doing all of these things, you have a system in place that will checkmate them and make sure that they do things in order. So what are the things that we do? The government has its part to play. We, the people, have our parts to play. Are we playing our right part? Or are we just sitting by watch and say, hey, since these people are doing their own upstairs, let me do my own downstairs? It's a win-win situation. No,
It's not
it's a
helping
lose-lose
anybody.
situation. At the end of the day, it's the country that is rumbling. It's the country that is going down. No principles, no integrity. So is this the kind of society we want to raise our children in, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren? So what are the principles you are leaving for your child to say, in case if you ever be there, this is how you should act if you are simply doing the same thing? So it means tomorrow is not assured. It means we are raising a society filled with corrupt people tomorrow, because at the end of the day, they are
what they're
learning
learning
from
and
what
what they're
we are
seeing,
doing
yeah.
today. So there's more really needs to be done.
Anyways, it's good that they should keep talking about it. They should keep talking about it. Away from that, Obura Wari, pardon me if I mistook that name.
Oh,
Right.
go on with that.
Wasima, others advocate measures to strengthen a local content drive. This one is on page 12. Yep. We have one more story. That's for the sports section. Page 38, 2026 World Cup race. 3 points against Rwanda, non-negotiable. This one is by the Super Eagles. I'm sure we'll get more details from it during sports in a jiffy.
Non-negotiable, that's the word, because hey, 7 points, Rwanda on top of the table. We are fifth with 3 points, so we get that 3 points tomorrow night, I think. And it means we are 1 point away from people topping the table. It means we're closer to making sure things are balanced. But not getting 3 points, it means we're closer to not qualifying for the World Cup. That's the whole scenario that we have at the moment.
Fingers crossed too.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Impact Radio 102.1 FM, that's the station which you're listening to. And of course, the show is the newspaper review. We're about to go on a short break. When we come back, we will be speaking with our in-house analyst. He happens to be the secretary of Ikedrum Batoli local government area of Imo State. So once he comes, we will be talking about what's happening in Port Harcourt, the NNPC crude deal, and so many other stories that you heard on the front page this morning. Don't go nowhere. We will be right back.
Strap on those shoes, citizens. We're about to walk majestically into March. Welcome to Makeup March.
All we do is makeup.
I'll tell you something cool about Makeup March is that you can see it in 2 ways without seeing double. Put on your glasses. You can see it as a way to make up for the perceived neglect of all the single people when February celebrated lovers. Singles, the spotlight is back on you.
That's right.
Take off your glasses. You can see it as an actual makeup makeover for all our beautiful ladies as we celebrate you in this Women's Month. Makeup March has something for everybody, but our high impact women are on the pedestal. Follow us on Instagram at highimpact1021FM to find out how you can win fabulous prizes this month. And listen to all our awesome shows for the same. It's Makeup March, but we ain't making this up.
Yeah.
We are on your side every time, like clockwork.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
The democracy has not given us peace.
but we must tinker with our democracy. I'm upset with my friend that came before me.
Oh.
Yes, I listened to him and he shocked me by turning things upside down.
Well, can I say something? Realize that we all have a right to our opinions. Yes. So that's his opinion. So go
This is On Record, where every word matters.
Then we avail you, our listener, the opportunity of calling into the program to ask questions from our guests on the topic for the day.
Join us as we discuss topical issues from 9 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. Mondays to Fridays.
On Record, where every word matters.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Thank you for staying tuned. It is the newspaper review where we analyze stories that made front page in all of the dailies right here in Lagos, Nigeria. In case you're just joining us, well, the newspaper review, we've done the first segment where we looked at some of the papers. It's now time for us to, talk about it, analyze some of the stories, and we have with us today our in-house analyst who happens to be the secretary of Ikeduru Mbatoli Federal Constituency of Imo State. Good morning to you, sir. Hame Fully-Bright.
Good morning, the great please on High Impact FM. Good morning.
You're welcome.
Nice to be back.
I'm so glad to have you back. I missed talking to you on the show, but it's a good one that you are back today. And coincidentally, we see what's happening in Rivers State, and this is not something that anyone expected. I remember we were talking about, the things going on in Rivers State all through early this year, even way back last year, about how it's turning out. Did you ever imagine that it might lead to someday we having a state of emergency?
Hi, my brother, is a root shock to me. It's an aberration to our constitutional democracy, and I want to lend my voice to condemning the anarchy that was experienced in Lagos State, and every lover of democracy, every lover of fairness, justice, and equity, every lover of fair hearing, and the tripod just stance, our justice stance on is bound to condemn what we saw in Rivers State, what we had the president did in Rivers State. This is a sober moment for every lover of democracy. I personally have not recovered from the shock because I have searched through the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. I have not seen where the president drew his legal backing in such an aberration. So it's a sober moment for every Nigerian, conscientious Nigerian, and it calls for deep reflection and the outright condemnation.
Yeah, okay. And when you say you've not seen in the Nigerian constitution where the president draws his backing from, it now begs the question. The AGF was seen on TV yesterday still talking about support, supporting this, state of emergency, and still also gave a warning to other states that in case there are crises in their state. So if the AGF is backing it up, don't you think that probably there's something in the Constitution that also backs it up?
We operate a democracy. We are the winner takes it all, and the piper dictates the tune, not what the Constitution says. I took time to listen to the young man, and I see bias, I see sentiments written over. He was mentioning of emergency rule. Where in our Constitution does emergency rule, suffice? There Section 305 C and D. Where was emergency rule inscripted in our Constitution? Section 118 sub 2B. Where was it, reviewed to us? Are we not in democratic system of government? When you go ahead to please your masters against the provision of the Constitution, it calls for it's an aberration. In summary, it's an aberration, and it's many legal minds, including our senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, have outrightly condemned that. NBA has condemned that. NBA, that is the hallmark. The Attorney General is a member of NBA, and the body itself has actually condemned that. So you now find out that the young man is catlighting and playing on the gallery, just to please his paymaster. It's unfortunate in our democratic system, and until he make reference to where it is written in our law book, we will not take him serious, and Nigeria will continue to see the high-handedness of what Mr. President has done in Rivers State, and it's unfortunate and it's unthinkable, very unthinkable.
Okay, unthinkable, like you said, unfortunate, you also said, but some also think probably there's still a way out with the National Assembly still hoping to sit and discuss about it. There was supposed to be a sitting yesterday in the National Assembly, which didn't hold due to some senior members not being present at the time that the topic was supposed to be discussed. There's going to be a sitting today, so we heard. Do you think this is going to be a situation where the National Assembly counters the president on this, or do you think it will be rubber stamped?
With my law book here, and what I've been able to lay hand is that before the president carries out such an instruction, an nod must be gotten from the National Assembly. And here we are, an action has already been taken. So what is the National Assembly discussing? When an action has been taken and the sole administrator allegedly sworn in, which I don't know which part of the law book that they use in swearing him in, as we saw in the national television yesterday. So what will the National Assembly be discussing when an action has already been, completed? In our law practice, we talked about injunction. We say injunction cannot be placed on an already completed act. An action has already been completed, and the sole administrator sworn in. So are you going to revisit an action that had already been completed? So it's still unfortunate. It's still an aberration when the normal process should have been taken, consulting the National Assembly, getting their majority to give a no to such emergency declaration. And the president, with what we had unilaterally, carry out such an action. And you expect the National Assembly, that is a rubber stamp under President, the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and the Tajudeen Abbas, the Speaker, who are OES member of the executive. So it's unfortunate. We are not expecting, Nigerians are not expecting anything contrary to what has been done, and it has come to stay with what is on ground, because the National Assembly that's supposed to have midwife over this thing and said they have called the executive to order when they are going against the law book, did not do that, and the action has been taken already. So Nigerians are left, in their seat, and the Governor Fubara, the Deputy Governor, the House of Assembly are left in their seat on what we've seen that has become a new rule in our constitutionality. Even the Attorney General threatening, every other state that the president, with what has been done, that the president can declare state of emergency on any state that poses danger to the national, resources and all the rest of it. So it's called for sober reflections and the sober moments for every level of democracy and every Nigerian. And we pray that this anarchy that is calling does not loom, as some portals are insinuating.
Talking about anarchy that might loom, and which is one thing which the AGF was talking about. But this time, in his own point, he says the president saved the governor from being impeached, because he think if the state of emergency has not been in place, the governor would have been impeached by the members of the assembly. And also, do you think, in as much as Similai Fubara has come out to say there's peace and there's calm, he wants the people to take the issues calmly and they're going to settle all issues, do you think this is something the PDP, the governor himself, and the people of Rivers State will take sitting down lightly?
Talking about impeachment and allowing it would have been fairer, it would have been just, if, considering what is written in the section 188 sub 2b, where the governor that the governor can be impeached on gross misconduct when the processes have been exhaustively been investigated. You have 1, 2, 3 to the 11th subsections of 188. If they have allowed this process to flow, we would have, found refuge in the fact that it is enshrined in our constitution, and it will be, it will be understandable than what the Charad we just witnessed 2 days ago. So talking about the PDP, there is what we say in our struggle. You see, an injury to one is an injury to all. You see, I love the fact that the PDP Governors Forum has openly come out to condemn what has happened, and I love the words, the language, the dictions they use in describing what has happened, and it now shows that these things can be replicated any other place in Nigeria. So it is important that this group are openly condemning, because it seems that this whole action is targeted on the opposition, and when opposition is silent, now we now be midwifed into a one-party system that whatever thing they say, takes place. So, but what the PDP has done, they should also go further by engaging stakeholders and mobilizing people to openly condemn what has happened, letting the international community know that the opposition in Nigeria is in danger, and the action should not only be a press release, from the Governors Forum. There should be further expression of grievances. There should be further expression of anger, on what has happened to their member. Because Steve Fubara is a critical stakeholder in PDP Governors Forums, and Rivers State is very critical for the opposition. So they should, amplify what they have done already to ensure that their cries and their grievances are being registered, instead of just the press release that the Nigerians with their short memory can always forget that even the size such as 2 days ago, and they openly condemned it. So they should make it a daily action to ensure that these actions does not, see the light of the day. With the 6 months we had on the news that the sole administration will host to a Rivers State.
Okay, now we have to move to something else, which is also a huge border in the country. You were talking about, short memory of Nigeria, but this time it has to do with the short Naira for crude that came into play. Because we remember when the federal government spoke about it, the president actually gave a strict order for Naira for crude to take place. And this didn't take place for a couple of months before it initially then started. And now all of a sudden, in less than a month or two, which we have seen improvement in terms of fuel prices dropping here and there, the Naira for crude deal has been stalled. What exactly do you think is going on between the NNPC, Dangote, and of course the other refineries in Nigeria?
It was laughable yesterday when the press release came from officially from Dangote, and Nigerians are asking questions if there is actually a leadership, in a country, Nigeria, in an entity called Nigeria, where the nation, where there will be a rule, where there will be regulations on some things, and the private individuals and persons will attack and will begin to go against it, openly, to the point of have been secretly been carried out with nobody knowing. But for such a reputable company who is believed to be patriotic, in the affairs of Nigeria, will openly come out and openly declare that they are no longer selling crude to our local currency. You now begin to ask questions if we are in a banana republic where things doesn't happen the way it's meant to happen. It's unfortunate that our economy has been done right and nobody is saying anything about it. It's unfortunate that today there is no appropriate measure to regulate the high exchange rate that is causing the inflation that we are having, that is causing the cost of commodity to skyrocket every minute of the day, that is causing the yearning of every Nigerian not to feed 2 times in a day. And such an establishment that Nigeria believes that, okay, when this exchange are done locally with the local currency, that the price will begin to reduce and the dollar will begin to reduce. But here we are, left in the winter caprices of those that cannot, do something that should better the lives of Nigeria. So when they dollarize the economy, where would common Nigeria, see the light of the day? So it's unfortunate that this is happening, and I have not seen a press release from either from CBN or from the spokesperson of the president condemning such publication and ensuring that the local currencies are being used to trade and to for every commercial activity here. So I don't know where we are heading to. It's a hopeless situation for Nigeria, and the dollar will continue to rise as we continue to dollarize our economy here in Nigeria.
We've solved one. And let's finally talk about something that also something is a huge stain on the image of Nigeria, and something it should be have been, taken in a different light. And I'm talking about the situation between Senator Natasha and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. We saw yesterday where allegedly the constituents were, all lined up, allegedly, told to come collect money and give signatures, allegedly, for the recall of Natasha. We saw INEC condemn it, condemning the whole recall thingy. But aside of that, we saw Senator Natasha, I beg your pardon, has been on a lot of foreign media. Yesterday, she was also on Sky, and this is something so many people think is definitely affecting the image of Nigeria, because this is a case of sexual abuse against the third citizen of the country, and it's on every platform in the world. Do you think the Senate should have handled this completely differently?
Completely differently, handling it, making it an internal affair would have been the best approach to this national and international embarrassment that the highest institution of the lawmaking body in Nigeria is facing globally. It's unfortunate the level of damage. It's unfortunate the level of disrespect. It's unfortunate the level of disrepute that this whole saga has brought the Nigerian Senate. And it will continue to happen as far as the whole conspiracy to embarrass her further is ongoing. We saw a news yesterday where people are allegedly called to receive an empowerment and to unfortunately ask them to sign some document that they never knew. It was later they now find out and revolted against such action. I was watching it live on the X app where people are now shouting that this is not what the reason why they are being called. They are cajoled to come and collect an empowerment, and at the end of the day, some forms are given to them to sign for the recall of their distinguished senator. So this action carried out by some political actors in the state, in the senatorial zone yesterday, will still continue to aggravate the situation. Wherein she will continue to approach international media to bring the Senate to total disrepute. So it is better they allow the independent panel to handle this. Let the Senate President recuse. He's not bigger than the institution itself. He's just one person elected like every other senators there. He should recuse himself and allow the independent body to carry out their investigation. If they so find him guilty, it behoves on the Senate to read out what his punishment. And if he's found innocent, let him also come back and take back his position. After all, we have the Deputy Senate President who could hold brief for him as the investigation goes on. This thing would have been carried out amicably and quietly within the chamber. But they allowed it to be blown out of proportion. And here she is visiting the reputable international media, mentioning Nigeria's Senate, mentioning Akpabio, mentioning sexual harassment, at the embarrassment of every Nigerian. When you travel out of this country and you identify yourself as a Nigerian, the gestures on the face of people, the foreigners attending to you, will automatically change. The whole, if you walk across any female gender, the way you'll be looked at, and these are the countries that sexually harass people, you might just start trying to ask somebody to excuse you. And the way the police, the law enforcement agency there will glance at you, you will ask yourself if it was a cost to be a Nigerian. So these are the embarrassments the highest lawmaking body in Nigeria is bringing to every Nigerian who is unfortunately outside the shores of this country. So the embarrassment is not just only the Senate, it's every Nigerian all over the world are facing it because of what we could have handled amicably in our country. So it's unfortunate, and I pray and I will urge them to see how they can, control this whole damage that they have caused, not only the institution, but Nigerians at large.
Okay, thank you so much. Your final words just before you go, sir.
I beg your pardon?
Just before you go, your final words on how you think Nigeria can become a better society.
Let our constitution be obeyed. Every elected leader should ensure that every of our actions and inactions should be carried out in accordance with the constitution. The issue of taking laws in our hands and the carrying out actions that as if we are above the law should not take Nigeria anywhere. This is my submission, and I pray our elected leaders should listen and abide by it for the betterment of Nigeria. We have only but one country we can truly call our own. If we continue to damage it, if we continue to batter the reputation, which other country can we be proud to call our own country?
Okay, thank you so very much. Thank you. That's a perfect way for us to leave this conversation this morning. We're speaking to Comrade Hame Fulebvite. Thank you for joining us this morning. We look forward to talking to you again another day.
God bless our impact for the impact in the society.
We hope the leaders will be able to, focus on the Constitution and act on things that the Constitution say the way it says them, and probably someday we will have a Nigeria that is peaceful, because like he said, it is the only one we have that we can call home. If it's destroyed, where else can we call home? Nigeria is the only one we have, and so we do hope that those ones who are involved in making sure that Nigeria succeeds to do the right thing. Let's get Nigeria working. Everybody who finds themselves in every parastatal whereby they have to make decisions, let them be the right decisions that will make sure that at least when you make them, it is for the betterment of the country, not just because you want to please yourself or because you have some few financial gains. How long is it going to take you? Is it going to help you feed your great-great-grandchildren? Let the country be self-sufficient so that everybody can feed and live for themselves. Not only one person supposed to enjoy for this life. Nope. Anyways, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody who opened their ears to us this morning. You opened your doors, your car stereos, your home theaters, all of that. I want to say thank you for tuning in this morning. For those who are watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click on the notification button so you can know whenever we are live. So we'll come your way again tomorrow for another exciting edition of the newspaper review. My name remains Uche Okorie. Have yourself a beautiful, beautiful day.
And my name is Toluwase Akinwumi. It's Throwback Thursday on Morning Impact Show, which means you get 1 full hour to reminisce on the old and golden days. Just stick with me, okay? All right.
Welcome to High Impact Studios, the place where